I'm on a Thursday edition. Hello, Gibby.
Hi.
Hello, Gibby.
Gibby.
Merely Bo, the great Z, Gibby, here. You guys about ready to depart on a little vacation before the season starts this afternoon? Oh, God.
I hate to do it to you right out of the gates. I hate to do it. So when we came in here, we couldn't hear at the beginning because what needed to be plugged in for us to be able to hear was not.
That's right.
Now, if you were to unplug that right now, that's a 3-prong.
Yeah.
It's missing prong 3.
It's missing the one that's the differentiator.
Yeah, so he's like, maybe that's why you guys were getting shocked. But you need that.
That's critical. I think that's grounding, isn't it? Doesn't that ground it?
Yes, that's the grounding.
You need that guy.
Well, he's not there.
He's not there. So maybe that is just.
You don't need it. You can actually pull that grounding out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, somebody did.
I've done that before.
I think you did that.
Clearly.
I did not do that.
Yeah. Well, when
I
you
did not
designed the
notice.
studio.
Can't say you didn't.
Well,
You
now
never
I know
for sure.
Will I do something about it? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
I'm in here.
I wouldn't expect you to. By the way, I mean, it's not often that we have a trade and we don't even open the show with.
I don't even know. I'm not even opened up here. I don't have my.
We were
discussing
discussing a trade.
I had a huge conversation with S. We had that going on. We were discussing some other things. I don't even have my laptop out. So tell me, what trade did I miss?
The Browns have traded Cade York to the Washington Commanders for a conditional 7th-round pick.
Oh, that I did see.
That's a big trade.
That I did. That's huge. I mean,
By the way,
7?
the Commanders are making, so that's one trade they made. The Commanders made another trade.
The other one is a little
I
bit
don't
bigger.
get it. It feels, if this was happening in fantasy football, I would say this is collusion.
Yeah. I mean, to trade, so they trade Jahan Dotson to Philly. What does it tell you about Philly that they went in on that? Just easy ability to add talent, and because they have Smith and they've got A.J. Brown, like they're pretty loaded.
Yeah, they like 11 personnel.
Yeah.
And they wanted that third. Now they have a third receiver that is going to be a real problem for people.
Yeah. So that deal happened this morning as well.
Yeah.
Both of those deals. So the Cade York one, good for Cade. You talked to him last week, and he's obviously a very changed and found man, and he finds a new home in Washington. For nothing, we grabbed an extra 7, so that's a good win. And there you go.
We traded a 7, and that got us Dustin Hopkins. So
yeah,
it's good. That means he obviously he showed well in the preseason, so it's great for Cade, and now he's got an opportunity, I think, to be a starting kicker in this league. So that's awesome for him.
Indeed. The bigger trade of the day was the Eagles acquiring Jahan Dotson. They do so in the rare intra-division trade. So it is Jahan Dotson to the Eagles. So Washington traded Dotson and a 5th-round pick for the Eagles in exchange for a 3rd and 2 7th-round picks in 2025.
Yeah, basically amounts to pick 105, so a 4th-round pick is what they traded for him. Meanwhile, the Commanders drafted Dotson in the 1st round.
Sure did.
2 years ago.
Sure did.
And he hasn't gotten a ton of action, but there certainly were indications he was a pretty decent player. His rookie year, 523 yards, 15 yards a catch, 7 touchdowns, 8.6 yards a target. Last year it wasn't great, but who was playing quarterback for them?
Yeah. No, I don't understand. I mean, they had
Why?
At one point they had a receiving core that had some guys who were productive. Curtis Samuel was in there, Jahan Dotson was in there, and then Terry McLaurin off the top of it. And you said, okay, maybe this is a making of something, and now not. So I had John Keim on this week. We've had John on.
Yeah.
He's the ESPN writer. He's a Clevelander, and so it's always fun to talk to John. And I had him on this week kind of talking about Washington and the East and all of these things. And I asked him about we were talking about Jaden Daniels and the Washington situation. I said, let me ask you this. From a Washington fan perspective, if Jaden Daniels plays great and they go 4-13 and pick in the top 5, isn't that perfect?
Yep.
And he goes, yeah, that's it. So here's the only hitch in that. I would not trade his pass catchers.
No.
So like trade defensive players, trade whatever. If you're trying to make sure that you're in a position to pick high, fine. But I would not trade his pass catchers in year 3.
I mean, he was their number 2 receiver.
I know.
He was second on the team last year in receiving yards, tied for first in touchdowns. The year before, he led the team in receiving touchdowns. Like, it's one thing if he was, just dreadful, but he hasn't been dreadful. He's been their second leading receiver and led the team in touchdowns 2 years in a row. 2 years ago, he was third receiver. But Curtis Samuel was over 600 yards. But, I mean, I don't even understand. What are we talking about here? Why? What is the point of that?
I don't know.
And then I'm looking at their draft picks this year. They took Luke McConkey in the third round. Or Luke McCaffrey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, and they have Diami Brown, who had 100 and something yards last year. I don't. What is the need to get rid of?
Why now?
Why
now punt on him? Why not let him play with Dotson? Why not let these young guys grow? And furthermore, if you are going to trade him, why would you trade him
to the
Eagles
for nothing?
For
so a guy that you used a
balls.
first-round asset on 2 years ago. And I'm guessing it's probably different people that did that, right? Did they change front office as well as changing coaches? Because Dan Quinn is now the coach.
Yeah, it's all new, new ownership, new coach, new everything.
I still don't think that's why you do that, but
no, I don't either. Unless he's just a problem, and maybe they just didn't want him around. I mean, I never heard that from him. He's a Penn State kid. He was, I don't know. It was a strange one this morning, to say the least. To see that drop.
To say the very least.
We concluded our Friday practice, and we will fly to Seattle this afternoon. I saw all of the buses lined up, getting loaded up. It's quite the ordeal to take a full NFL team before cuts across the country to play a relatively meaningless game, sir.
It's completely absurd.
It is, yeah. I think we know why they're doing it, but it does not mean that it is any less absurd.
Nana was very intrigued by your theory.
Who was?
Nana.
Oh, there you go. Now we're talking.
How about that? A cough button?
Cough button, baby. You hit it. How about it?
How about it?
That worked, man.
Hey,
that was great. That was
hey,
great. Hey, come on. Let's do it.
Come on.
Anyway, so you guys are flying out there, and
that's right,
everything's
we
getting
are.
loaded up, and you guys will fly out this afternoon.
Yeah.
Some updates from the Friday practice. We mentioned the Cade York trade that happened this morning. The Browns have issued a statement on running back Pierre Strong. Remember, yesterday during the show, we saw Pierre walk off while holding his rib area, and then reportedly got into a ambulance and went to the hospital. The Browns issuing a statement. Browns running back Pierre Strong suffered a rib contusion. He's been released from the university hospitals after being transported there by ambulance as a precaution while experiencing shortness of breath. So there you go on that front.
Yeah, good news that it sounds like it is not necessarily something very, very serious, but at the same time, you want to see, you need a healthy running back. And I have not seen anything saying that we have signed a running back, which makes me think that maybe he will be okay. Long term, I think he's definitely going to be okay, but I'm talking about that he will be okay to maybe play in this game, because you don't really want to be seeing much of Jerome Ford or Deontay Foreman. I mean, maybe the plan is just to have Aiden Robbins go the whole way, but if he gets dinged up, then what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess worst case scenario in a game like this, you could just throw it every time.
You could.
And just kind of go that way, and just every throw. I mean, Bajanstad would love that.
It's the way he wants the game to be played.
He was so excited about proclaiming that on Hard Knocks.
That guy.
He was something else. Kevin Stefanski had said earlier in the week all of the starters should prepare to play. He's kind of, I think that if you mince the words there, you can say prepare to play. So treat this like you're going to play, but there was no way that all of them were going to play. The expectation was that Deshaun Watson would play in this game. Yesterday, he was kind of an in-between, and then is this from today? He was held out of most of the team drills today. Is that?
No, that's from yesterday.
That's from yesterday. Okay, so
we don't have any type of
we don't know what happened today.
Reporting or anything about today.
So Kevin was available yesterday after practice and was asked about Watson. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I'd say general arm soreness, but again, he practiced. I held him back. He could have gone. He's feeling fine.
I think that this is much ado about nothing. I think it, as I said yesterday, this is not a cause for concern. I don't think it actually has any bearing whatsoever on whether or not he is going to be playing in Seattle. I still think it is possible we will see him in Seattle.
Well, if he doesn't play, this would be why, because the plan was for him to play all along. So if he doesn't play, then this would be why, correct? There would be no other reason for him not to.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm asking. I'm not telling.
I think that's
was the understanding from. I felt like the understanding from Kevin Allcamp was that Deshaun was going to play in this, because I remember even Deshaun had the presser.
The only reason I would say that it might not be just that simple would be what's going on at left tackle. That would be the only reason that I would even think that it could be anything other than that.
The only thing we don't know is will left tackle be in any better spot 2 weeks from now?
No, and so in some ways you probably better get ready for it. My guess here is that Deshaun is fine and he's going to play. We aren't going to get any updates on today's practice, but my sense of it is that he probably was back to fully normal activities.
This is we talked about this yesterday. We've talked about it throughout the offseason. This team needs to play real games.
Yep.
That quarterback needs to play real games.
Yep.
And play well,
Yep.
And that's really the only way that it all goes away.
Yep.
You mentioned Diana Rossini picking us to be the most disappointing team in the league. There's others who have. Bill Barnwell said we were one of 5 teams. Now there was, 3 in the division. 2 of the other ones were Baltimore and Pittsburgh, who would be disappointing based on what the over/under was. There is a sense around the league that what we had last year. Look, there were a lot of thrilling finishes. We relived them all.
Yeah, we won a lot of very close games.
A lot of close games. We won a lot of close games. Had a lot of good football luck on the field. With the opposite of that happened in terms of the injury front all season for us. It was almost like, all right, we took away Nick Chubb, Jack Conklin, Deshaun Watson, among others. We'll give you the football gods will give you some breaks around the course the course of the season.
You got a lucky penalty flag that you beat Indianapolis with. You have a kicker who hadn't miss a kick against you, and you beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
You have you make some of your own good luck, drive down the field and hit game winners. But yeah, a lot of times when I think Barnwell, and I didn't read his article, so I'm not saying this is what he said in there, but there typically is a regression to the mean in terms of your abilities to win in close football games. There is some luck that is not necessarily carries over season to season. Now, I would argue that I think our team this year is going to be significantly better than the team we had last year, especially if we are reasonably healthy. And so I think our defense is going to be even better than it was a year ago. And I think our offense, with some of the additions we made, is going to be even better than it was a year ago. So,
do you feel that way considering what is the reality at left tackle right now, and also because we don't have Nick Chubb? We had Nick Chubb to start last year.
Yes. Do I think going into the season we're better? Yeah, I do.
Than we were a year ago going into the season?
Yeah, the addition of Jeudy is significant in my opinion. We didn't even know that DeJuan Jones, who turned out to be our best offensive tackle last year, he wasn't even playing going into the season. You never even think he was going to play.
Yeah.
I think the additions we made on the defensive line.
No, I just mean offensively. I was thinking offensively.
I think the addition of Jeudy is significant. I think it's a significant.
But if you go back to a year ago at this time, you have Conklin and Wills at tackle, and you have Nick Chubb.
Okay.
So you don't have that now. You have DeJuan, who's great. But Conklin was coming off an all-pro, so we had no reason to believe Conklin wouldn't be great again. He had been. And so then it's Jed and Nick versus Jerry.
It's Jed, and we've also
Nick's a cheat code, so it's kind of because he ends up getting hurt. But
we also
I thought Nick Chubb was going to have 1,700 yards last year.
Sure, we still got without him 2,000 total yards and 19 touchdowns out of our running backs not named Nick Chubb. So that's pretty productive.
It is, yeah.
I think the Dorsey offense, given who our quarterback is, puts us in a better spot than perhaps we were 1 year ago. I think we're overall as a team, our roster is definitely better than it was a year ago.
Yeah. There's no question. There's no question that it is. What do you anticipate seeing out there Saturday night at 10 o'clock? I mean, what do you – because you're not – you know how Coach is. You're not going to get a straight answer on how he's going to – even if it's a preseason game, you're not going to get an answer in terms of how many series or what. I think that'll be by feel, right?
I think it's a lot by feel. Yeah, I think if, let's say, the starters go in there and get great work and have success – let's say their first drive is right down the field, I think that's what it's going to end up being. That'll be probably the only drive. If, let's say that they do not, maybe you have a few more. Kind of like when we were watching Hard Knocks. Caleb Williams had, 3 and outs to start?
He did.
And then got it going, and then it looked a lot better for them. So I think that the goal is to come out of it with some type of a positive feeling or a positive vibe. I think ultimately that's what you're looking for coming out of this. I don't think you don't want them in there and exposed to injury for that much. So my guess is you're more focused on, getting it done, getting in there, getting some good work, and getting out of there. But I do think that it still is possible and more likely maybe than not that you will see Deshaun Watson get action in this game. I really do.
Can I be real honest with you? I don't care.
I don't either.
I don't care if we see him or not. It doesn't make any difference.
Right, that's all there is to talk about.
No, I know, but it's I think the only thing that like sometimes I think you grab onto something, right? And so like because and this is probably why Kevin's like, this is why I don't say anything, right? Because like if he goes back to 3 weeks ago and he says, yeah, the plan is for Deshaun to play in Seattle, right? So now everyone's like, well, he's got to play in Seattle. Well, maybe things have changed. The left tackle situation's different. Maybe you talk to Seattle and they're like, yeah, I don't know how many of our guys were going to go. Maybe that circumstances change.
Of course.
And so instead, like he's locked into it, so it's like, well, something must be catastrophically wrong with Watson, and that's not the case at all.
Well, that's
but because
all
you're going off of that original comment, and now you're being held to that standard.
Yeah.
And the reality is, if you said, well, we're going to take it week to week, day by day, we'll tackle Seattle when we get there.
Yes.
Then you don't have this.
Well, that's why he's been non-committal really all week. Once with the tackles, he said we're evaluating everything, and we'll figure out what the ultimate right answer is. That's why you've seen some of that type of talk, obviously, from him. Look, it is hard when you are a team that has expectations. You have a roster like you do. You have a coaching staff like you do. This team, all that matters is what actually happens.
Yep.
And so these preseason games are completely irrelevant. Now we're hoping that this one has a little bit more relevance because you're going to actually get a chance to see, if not all, but at least some people who actually will play for the Cleveland Browns up September the 8th.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's kind of cool, right?
But that's
to see
all it is.
But that's it. Like,
That's what it is.
go beat the Cowboys week 1. I mean, that's the gig. Go do that. That's what we got to do. So it's such a
winning.
tricky. Such a trick, man! I missed him. So that was such a stretch he had.
Oh man,
when he was
like
when the
me.
winning, that was like apex Twitter probably. That's probably the best Twitter ever was.
Winning, Tiger blood,
Yeah, that whole thing.
everything he had. He had, and by the way, did have quite a bit going on.
He had a lot going on. He had some very fun company along with him along the ride. Let me do an exercise. Let's you and I do an exercise as we go into the final preseason game, and we'll do full NFL preview as we get closer to the season in a couple weeks. But I just want to do an exercise with you in the AFC. All right, I'm going to give you the name of a team.
Okay.
You tell me if that team in its building views itself as a team to go win the Super Bowl. Okay, so in the building.
Okay.
Okay, Jets,
Yes.
Dolphins,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Patriots,
No.
Ravens.
You can't mark it before I answer.
I know the answer.
Yes.
Bengals,
Yes.
Browns,
Yes.
Steelers.
No.
Do you think they don't believe it?
That they can win the Super Bowl? No. And they may believe it, but that's delusional.
I'm going to put it in the maybe. Jacksonville.
Maybe. If you're making 3 categories, like
Maybe.
they could maybe convince themselves on after a few cocktails.
Yeah. Titans.
No.
Houston.
Yes.
Indy.
No. I think they might be in the maybe.
Yeah. Denver.
No.
Kansas City.
Yes.
Raiders.
No.
Chargers.
Maybe.
Maybe. So I have it at 8. I have 8 teams in the AFC that walk into their building every day in training camp and say, let's go win the Super Bowl. We have what it takes. We have
Yes.
the roster. We believe we have the quarterback. We believe that we have the depth of talent. All of those things are the minimum requirement. You have to have really good quarterback play. You have to have incredible depth. You have to have a ton of talent to do it. Like, that's it. 8 of them that walk in saying that.
And go on, let's do the NFC so we can get a picture of the entire National Football League.
Eagles.
Yes.
Cowboys.
Yes.
Giants.
No.
Washington.
No.
Bears.
No. Maybe.
Vikings.
No.
Packers.
Yes.
Lions.
Yes.
Saints.
No.
Bucks.
I mean, no.
No, I don't think so. Falcons.
Yeah.
Yep. Panthers. No.
No.
I mean, Teppers might be just delusional. I don't know. Ram it.
Yeah.
Niners.
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Probably maybe.
I agree with that. Cardinals.
No.
So 7.
So it's 15. We have 15. We have 20 of the 32 we think truly believe yes or maybe.
That they walk into their buildings.
That's
and
why
say,
the NFL's awesome. That's what I was saying.
We're going to
yesterday
go
when we
win.
were talking about that college
Half
discussion.
of the teams think that.
It's 'cause the
now
NFL's
you and
awesome.
it is awesome because it is a league that has been set up for parity. It's been set up for this. That's how they did it. We're the only country in the world that sets things up this way so that everybody has a chance. And if you're smart and you have a good acumen and you get a little bit of luck, you can win these things. We're the only sport that does it, or the only country that does it this way. 15 of them think that way. How many do you think are
Truly
that?
can win the Super
Truly.
Bowl?
Yes.
All right.
Niners,
Lions,
Philly.
Dallas.
I don't think Dallas can win it.
They have the talent.
They have not been to an NFC Championship game since 1995.
I know, but I'm
So,
gonna list us.
Well, we'll get to us.
Okay.
So I think it's just Philly and San Francisco.
Detroit. 100%.
I'm sorry, Detroit. I meant Detroit. Detroit too. Philly, San Francisco, and Detroit. Those three.
In the NFC?
In the NFC.
I bet Green Bay believes they can do it.
No, I'm saying you and I. Do you?
Did I believe?
I don't believe
like
Green
Jordan
Bay
Love.
can do it. I like him too, but I'm not there yet. I think 3. For me, 3. You have 5 because you're going to add Cowboys and Packers.
They're on the periphery. Okay.
AFC
AFC,
Chiefs. Yes.
Jets, Bengals, us.
Miami.
Yeah, I could be convinced. Buffalo, I don't think.
Buffalo's in a transition.
Houston,
Houston, I would put. I think Houston could.
if it all goes right. I mean,
Burrow went to a Super Bowl in year 2.
yeah. But I don't put the Ravens in that category.
I don't either. No, I don't either. Yeah. So if you take us out of it, it's Cincinnati, Jets, Kansas City, Houston, maybe Miami. And Miami's probably the biggest stretch. Do you know the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game?
Dan Marino.
The year 2000.
In the year 2000.
The longest streak in the league.
Who was the quarterback? Was it Marino?
No, he was
He would've been
retired by
gone.
then because he got beat up. His last game, they got housed by the Jaguars.
Crushed.
Like 60. I mean, truly,
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson was the coach.
Yeah.
They got beat like 60-something to
Could it
7.
have been like a Culpepper?
No.
Sage Rosenfels? Jay Fiedler?
That's what I was thinking was Jay Fiedler. 2000 Miami Dolphins.
Oh, I got this for you.
That's Wanstedt, right? Is Wanstedt the coach? 2000 Miami Dolphins.
I want to make sure we have. So they.
Yeah, it is a Wani. Yeah, they went first. They won a playoff game against the Colts,
Yeah, Jay
23-17.
Jay
That's
Fiedler.
who I was thinking was Fiedler.
Jay
was the guy.
Fiedler, as their starting quarterback, comes in after Marino and goes 11-5, 11-5, 9-7, 10-6.
Yeah.
Those were his 4 years there. Is Jay Fiedler underrated?
The fact that nobody out there probably knows who the hell he is. Look at did you remember Thurman Thomas playing for the Bills? Can I
For the
interest you in
Bills?
that?
For the Dolphins?
For the Dolphins?
No.
Thurman
Bills,
Thomas
yes.
played for the Dolphins.
No, did not have that.
Man.
All right, so we had Jay Fiedler goes 10-5, 2,402 yards, 14 touchdowns, 14 picks, and a rating of 74. The leading rusher was Lamar Smith, who ran for 1,139 yards and 14 touchdowns. Thurman Thomas, 9 games, 28 carries for $136. Still averaged 4.9 yards a carry. Your leading receiver was Aronde Gadsden.
Jeez.
786 and 6. They had Leslie Shepard, Bert Emanuel,
Just had to
O.J.
be-
McDuffie. Their defense must have been out.
It had to be the Hall of Famers. Taylor and Zach Thomas. Like, they just must have been
Points for, they were
locked down.
16th. Points against, they were 3rd, 14 a game. So
They won a lot of 17-14s.
yeah. So let's see.
Zach Thomas,
23-0. They beat Seattle. Then they lose 13-7. Then they beat the Ravens 19-6. Beat the Patriots 10-3. Beat the Bengals 31-16. Beat the Bills 22-13. Lose to the Jets in that crazy Monday night shootout 40-37. Beat the Packers 28-20. Beat the Lions 23-8. Beat the Chargers 17-7. God, their D was good. Lose to the Jets again 20-3. Beat the Colts 17-14. Bills 33-6. Lose to Tampa 16-13. Lose to Indy 20-13. Beat the Patriots 27-24. And in the playoffs, they beat the Colts 23-17 and then got smoked by the Raiders 27-0.
That's a Rich Gannon
Is that the Super Bowl champions?
Raiders. They weren't the champions.
No,
but
they
that was-
lose in the conference championship to the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore won it that year.
16-3.
Yeah. The I had this, by the way. Marino's last game, he lost. I said 63-7, and people thought I was nuts. No,
I didn't think you were
62-7.
Yeah.
Jacksonville beat him 62-7 in the 1999 divisional game in Jacksonville, where they just housed him.
How about this? So you're right. It was Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon that year, nice season, 3,430 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. His backup quarterback, who attempted 2 passes that season, Bobby Hoying,
Buckeye.
former Buckeye,
Land developer.
leading rusher.
Extraordinaire in the Central Ohio.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah.
He's doing quite well.
Oh, yeah.
Good for him.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Leading rusher that year, Tyrone Wheatley, 1,046 yards, 9 touchdowns. Leading receiver, obviously, Tim Brown. Second leading receiver on the team, and I do not remember this at all.
Let me take a stab.
Okay.
Antonio Freeman,
Nope.
Jerry Rice.
Nope. Andre Bad Moon Rising.
Oh, boy.
And then the tight end was another former Buckeye who actually played very well when Jeff George was there, was the tight end.
Ricky Dudley,
Ricky Dudley.
first-round pick.
That's right.
Wow, that's something. It's also something when you go over the statistical accumulation from those years, how the game has changed. Like how if you could actually win a division throwing for, what did you say, Fiedler, like 2,500 yards on the season?
Yeah.
You could win a division doing that.
I'm furious with myself right now.
Talk to me. Talk to me, Goose.
The year was 1998.
Okay.
Actually, I think I might want 97. Let me see. Let's see if I have this right. Well, in 1998, Jeff George was still a Raider, and Bill Callahan was the OC, and we never discussed this at any length.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. It's best you didn't.
I think this year it probably was best that I didn't. This was not a good year for him.
I think it's best you didn't, because one of the things that I've heard this from people, like when you meet your heroes,
Yeah.
or you find out too much about them, it's wildly let down.
Can I give you his numbers, though, in the year 19 – this is 1998 with the Raiders, Jeff
Go ahead,
George,
go ahead.
or 1997.
Yeah.
3,917 yards, 29 touchdowns, 9 picks.
In
1997.
I know you love him.
I do. Tim Brown that year, 1,408 yards. Ricky Dudley, a career-high 787 and 7. James Jett, 804 and 12, averaging 18 yards a catch with Jeff George. Goodness gracious.
Let me ask you this.
Napoleon Kaufman, 1,700 total yards.
So
Loaded.
he played on largely bad teams.
Fair.
In terms of teams that are over 500, he's once over 500 in Atlanta.
Yes.
And he's
and then he gets run out of town. I come in as a
9-7.
freshman, ready to get season tickets, and watch Jeff George and him and June Jones implode, and they run him out of town after 3 games for Bobby Hebert.
Yeah, 96. He's gone after 3 games.
Yeah, then he goes and
And
leaves.
he's out.
By the way,
then he goes to Oakland, where he
Yeah.
leads the NFL in passing
That's
yards.
right.
The
Thank you
season
for
you
saying
just
that.
did. But they went 4-12. So then he only has 2 quarterback winning seasons. He went 8-2 with the Vikings in 99.
let's talk about that
and
for
then
a
he
second.
went 90 in 95. He went 9-7.
Yeah.
You love him.
Love him.
Statistically, he's one of those guys when you look at it and you go, what happened here? Like, there's a lot of these monster years that he had. The touchdown to interception, and in those days, to go 2-1 touchdown to interception,
Was good.
or that Raiders year 29-9.
Yeah.
He went 2-1 in 99 with the Vikings. He went 23-12 touchdown to interception.
Yeah, 95
So
he threw for 41, 43, 24, and 11.
here comes the backside of it, though.
Yeah.
He just must have been a crud.
He
There's no other way.
He couldn't have
had
been
all the
likable.
talent in the
Yeah,
world.
he
The
couldn't have
arm
been
strength
likable.
is stunning. Like
Stunning.
anybody who's been around him. We've had anybody in who's been around him. They're like, the arm was ridiculous.
Metcalf loved him because
As good as
Metcalf
could
was
be.
with him when he
Yeah.
threw for the 4,000 in Atlanta.
Yeah, but he must have just been such a crud.
You know who loved him?
Like, get out.
Chris Carter.
Well,
Carter.
Chris is a little bit of a crud. So
He
that,
loved
that
him.
adds up.
That year in 99, his average completion was 14.7 yards,
Yeah.
which was number 1 in
Yeah.
the league by a wide margin. He got comeback player of the year votes. They went 8-2. They lose in the playoffs that year. By the way, his playoff resume is not bad either. Doesn't win either of his games, but quite productive in those playoffs.
No, he just has to be
He lost
a tough
to the,
hang.
He lost to the Rams in a shootout, 49-37, in a game in which this was. Oh man, I remember watching this. I was watching this at Zago's house. I was in Tucson.
Was
for this game.
Zago
With
into
Zago.
Jeff George?
Jeff George
Being a Bobby Knight disciple, he couldn't have been.
I don't know if he liked Jeff George or not, but I did.
Yeah.
Jeff George in this game throws for 423 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And they lose to Kurt Warner, who throws for 391 and 5.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then his first playoff game was against Brett Favre. So when he leads the Falcons to the playoffs, they go and they take on Brett Favre on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
And in that game, the great Jeff George, because that is really the only way that you can.
Just said the hell. Give me just like
He's out?
he's gone.
He's done?
He's just got his backpack.
That's an outrageous way to.
I'll see you on down
to
the
conduct
line.
yourself.
He's gone. You're into your 4th minute on Jeff George.
Yeah.
To hell with you guys.
He throws for
Get outta here.
366 and 2, and they lose 37-20 to Brett Favre.
154 career touchdowns, 113 picks.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we will power rank the position groups as we head into the final preseason game. That's amazing if he really did that. I would love him more.
That was a dynamic
It
discussion.
really was dynamic. I was a big fan of it. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We will power rank our offense, our defense, coming up next, heading into the final preseason game. We're off and running. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more, and you're going to get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. All right, here's how give it. Here's the change to the Ballybet read. So instead of it reading, you'll get 100 and the word. $150. Just have it read.
Boost your game day this season with Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more, and you'll get $150 back in bonus bets.
Just get rid of the and.
You'll say you'll get
because the and makes you say 100 and something else, not 150. I'm going to say 150, like 100. I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
The
you'll
and
get 150.
When you read it, the and makes you think
150.
150.
It's just 150.
It's $150.
$150.
Yeah, that's the bonus bets on that.
There you go.
There you go. All right. What are we doing here? We're power ranking each position group on the Browns. 1 through 8. Gibbe has not returned.
Why?
He said to hell with it. He's gone.
Maybe he's looking to source some Jeff George memorabilia.
He's on Zillow. He wants to be the huge P of Seahawks Daily. Checking things out. The breweries. He can get some Rainier beer out there.
He's already
some Olympia.
He's going to get, I think, in Denver, he's got to go to the place where they give you beer that's got the juice of Rocky Mountain oysters in it.
I've eaten one.
Well, I've had that beer.
You've had the beer? I've had the oysters.
I've had them as well. Yeah.
It's kind of chewy.
Like gum.
Little. If you've had a chicken gizzard, it kind of has that type of a chewy feel.
It's got a little bit of like a tripe feel too.
Okay.
Like some ridges, like could be made of soft chewable.
The ones I had were sliced.
Yeah.
So they almost looked like baked potatoes, but were deep fried. You know, like sliced, not baked, fried potatoes, and then deep fried was how that was. How did you have them?
I think they're fried.
Yeah.
It was not something that I was like, I need to do this.
You're like, give me another one, baby.
No.
Yeah. It was more of for us, it was a rite of passage in the branding.
Yeah.
Snip them, clean them, deep fry them, eat them. God knows why.
So you didn't have yours in it. You're saying you had yours like.
I had it on the fireside on the Ponderosa.
On the Ponderosa.
As branding was happening.
Sounds awful.
Yeah. That's a traumatic experience for the cow. Never noticed it in the moment. Felt like, well, this is what we do every year. What's the big deal? But a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. All right, let's. I don't want to get PETA out on the Ponderosa. Let's get off of this. Position group 1 through 8 on this Browns team heading into the preseason game number 3. This is a directive from Gibbe, and we will follow the directive.
Okay.
All right. The strongest position group on this roster. Like, by the way, so he has it as 1 through 8, but there are 10, right? There's 10 different categories.
Let's just go down from 1, and we'll.
Am I wrong?
We'll see.
Walter, am I wrong? Are there 10 categories listed? I think there's 10 categories, but he has it at 1 through 8.
It's 10. 1 through 10. That's on me.
Okay.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Short
8,
timer.
9.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
There's
and
10.
I think defensive line should be 2, quite frankly.
Yeah, you really could. All right, you could even do interior offensive line tackles because those are 2 different things.
All right, let's just.
All right, just try to do the best you can. 1 through 10, the strongest position group on this team with 1 preseason game to go as we stand right now.
Yes.
Not as we project 2 weeks from now. Dr. Z!
Defensive line. If we were going to break them out, I would have the edge group number 1, but I'm going to go defensive line. Your thoughts?
Miles is he's like the kid in the class who gets like 160%, if that's possible, like 16 extra credits.
And I saw the numbers is actually much higher, much higher than that.
What's that?
Much higher than that.
Much higher?
Much higher than that.
Yeah.
There was a speech that was just given recently where somebody said that something was supposedly 100% of something,
but
was something, and he said, but I've actually seen the numbers and it's much higher.
Much higher than 100%.
That's right. Can't get any higher.
Can't get it. It's as high as it gets.
I mean, one of my favorite.
I used to push back on coaches with that.
One of my favorite bits from the now defunct and would never see the light of day man show
No. Yeah.
was they went to spring training with the Dodgers and Lasorda.
Yeah.
And, at one point Lasorda asked if they can cut the mustard, to which Corolla responds, no, but I can cut the cheese. Not even a modicum of a smile across Lasorda's face.
Lasorda's not having it.
And then every time they go out there, they would be like, Coach, we're going to give it 110%. Lasorda every time, like, there's only 100%.
Lasorda would say that.
Lasorda would say it, yeah.
That's
and they're like,
awesome.
no, we're going to give you 110%. Like, no, there's only 100%.
So there's only 100%.
Yeah, no, but we're going to give you 110%. No, there's only 100%.
That's good. Yeah, I think D-line is one as well. The only other one that I considered for one, but we're not all the way whole there. I think our corners have a chance to be.
I have that at 2.
Okay. Yeah. Corners are 2. Now it gets interesting at 3.
I'm going to put our wide receivers at 3. You could make the case that it's the O-line. You could also make the case it's the tight end room because it's really just Chief that you're worried about.
Yeah, I think if I had if Wills or Conklin, if I knew, if I like where I stand right now, I can't have the O-line at 3.
Okay.
Because it's the left side's been a tough watch, tough hang.
Okay.
So I think you're right on that. The wide receiver room, it is deep, it is talented, with the exception of Amari Cooper over the course of a full season, relatively unproven in terms of I know what I'm getting.
I mean, it's
But
probably
the ceiling is just
enormous.
I think our linebackers are pretty good too when healthy. It's another one we're waiting on. A little bit of time.
Safeties are pretty good.
Safeties are really good. Yeah. I'm okay with wide receivers at 3.
Okay.
And then I would probably go Chief at 4. The tight ends.
Okay.
I think that's there.
I'd go safeties 5.
Yeah.
We got to get the O-line. I mean, we got 2 perennial
Yeah,
Pro Bowlers
it's just-
and Posick.
And DeJuan Jones might be the best right tackle in
Yeah.
football. By
So
the
maybe
time
let's
this-
put them up. Let's put them
They gotta
above
go-
the safeties. Let's put them 5.
You could make it, yeah.
And we'll put safety 6. And then linebacker, if it's just Hicks and JOK.
That's 7.
Well,
Special
the truth
teams.
is-
God, we got special teams down there. They're pretty dang good.
And quarterback.
D-Hop and Bjorkes.
Quarterback, we got Deshaun, Jameis, and DTR.
Yeah.
That's a
That's it. That's
Relative
another
to the
one.
league,
You just
that's-
got to go. I mean, our weakest group is the running back room.
yes.
Is the weakest group,
And our
they're
specialists
still
are
very
really
good. Our specialists are ridiculous. Bjorkes and Hopkins.
Yeah. It's a good
It's
team.
just a
This
good
is what I'm
roster,
saying.
man. It's a good roster.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
These are the points that I'm making.
yeah, they are. It's a really good roster.
I mean, you could split hairs, and really, in many places in the league, rooms 1 through 8 would be. Any of them would be the best on, or 9, even counting special teams. They could be the best on a great number of teams.
Yes.
Like as in the number 1 position room on those teams.
Yep. Yeah. The depth of talent is something else. So that was that was proving that via that exercise.
Yes.
Coming up next, Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports ranked the top 10 wide receiver tandems of 2024. We will let you know where we stand and who the most talented are coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Leader, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. This is Cody Benjamin, CBS Sports. He ranked the top 10 wide receiver tandems in 2024. Had some honorable mentions as well. Who is your number one receiver tandem in the National Football League?
I think the ones that come right to my mind.
There's four to me that are just on a
immediately
another level.
Would be Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
And Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
I'm going to say A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk.
Okay. There's two other ones. I mean,
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Still two more.
Jamar Chase.
There you go.
And T. Higgins.
And one more. I think there's one more that's in this category. We just saw him.
Jefferson and Addison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure about Addison. But, yeah, just Addison. And then another one that I would put even getting near that. I just had – who was I just thinking of? Oh, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen.
Are you sure that it's Keenan Allen and not Rome Odunze?
I'm not, but whatever.
Because I think there's a chance
they might have
Rome Odunze might be.
What are all
dude.
These reports that Keenan Allen's like 250 pounds and is like reviewing deep dish pizzas?
It doesn't look like that to me when I watch him on Hard Knocks.
No, he didn't seem.
Looks fine. Looks fine. Yeah. No, I think Odunze is going to be ridiculous there, especially with he's got the other two.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it. Hello, Gibby.
Came back.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Here's how they rank them.
We're not talking Jeff George anymore? Hold on. Do you have the right link?
Yeah, I think so.
You may not.
Well, I didn't go off of the rundown.
That's a good thing.
I went off. I Googled Benjamin top receiver tandems, and it was from yesterday.
Perfect.
Yeah, Cody Benjamin, top receiver tandem. So he has – I hope I'm on the right list.
You are.
All right, so you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle at the top. They're number one. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, 2. Jefferson and Addison is 3. Chase and Higgins is 4 for him. Samuel and Ayuk is 5. Nacua and Kupp is 6.
So
Here's one that we didn't name.
Hold on, can I throw one out?
Yep.
Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs.
That's 7.
That was.
I think Diggs might be a little washed. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not Nico Collins and Tank Dell.
Okay.
Might be there. Their 3 is really good.
Yeah.
They're really good. Keenan and DJ, so there you go on that. Number 9, CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks.
I like
Brandon Cooks has been catching passes effectively for like 15
years.
years.
2004, he was in the John football draft.
And he's been a dude for everywhere. And he bounces around, and everywhere he goes, he gets 1,000 yards. Like, it's pretty wild how consistent.
Do they have
It's
Mike
like the guy
Evans
in
and
college
Godwin
was there
on
for
here?
7 years.
It is. Yeah.
They have Mike Evans and Godwin somewhere?
Nope. Number 10 is Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers.
Come on now.
So, come on now.
Come on now. Where's
Honorable mentions, Hopkins and Ridley, Evans and Godwin, Metcalf and Lockett, Watson and Doubs, and St.
What?
Brown and Jamison Williams.
Hold on a second.
Those are the
Hold
honorable
on a second.
mentions.
Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy are not an honorable mention?
They're not.
Okay. 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 Christian Watson. Okay. There's
Ladies and gentlemen.
I watched that with NBC.
And?
Coming to America. I forgot right away the royal bathing.
Oh, yeah, the bathing. Sure.
Right out of the gates.
Yeah.
I go, oh! And he goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, we'll come back in 30 seconds. It's over quick.
Christian Watson's rookie season, 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. His second season, 422 and 5.
Yeah. Yeah, the production is not there.
Romeo, his first season, 42 catches, 425 and 3. Last year, 59, 6, 74, and 8. Amari Cooper's got more yards in one season than either of those two combined. And then you add in Jeudy. It's not like it's dreadful.
Do you want a crazy stat about Christian Watson?
Let's have it, buddy.
He's never had over 802 yards in his entire career,
At any level.
career in a season, high school, college, or the pros.
and he's on this
that's a
list ahead of.
strange one.
This guy's
was
got
he
on
the
this ahead of
receiver
Amari
for
Cooper.
Trey Lance at like North Dakota State or something?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Good job out of you, Nick.
And Amon-Ra, just on his strength alone should be in there. But what he needs to do,
he's on there. He's an honorable mention.
he needs to
He's
make
with
it be
Jamison Williams.
your top 2 pass catchers. So like ours should be Amari and Chief,
Well, then Kansas City would be Kelsey and anyone.
Kelsey and Rashee Rice probably.
Could be Xavier Worthy by the time it's
that
over.
would be Amon-Ra and Laporta,
Yeah. So there you go.
Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews.
Yeah. That's a different list
It's
in
a
that
different
in
list.
that sense.
But I still think this list is bogus.
Well, I think we agreed with like everybody they had in the first 7 or 8.
I don't agree with the honorable
It's
mentions.
the honorable mentions that get. a
Well,
little
even the
dicey.
Titans, like I get Hopkins and Ridley from 4 or 5 years ago.
Hopkins and
Ridley
Ridley
is
are
still
not
all
better
right.
than Amari.
Correct.
And Jeudy,
Now.
though.
No.
Yeah, you're going
Look,
off of.
I'm going to tell you
past.
something.
Nobody
This is
likes,
what I hope.
wants to like it.
This is what I hope is talked about by our coaches. I hope our players see all this stuff. This might be on a team that won 11 games last year, despite all of it, the most disrespected, no belief in team
Yes.
in the league.
Yep.
Like, nobody believes in this group. Nobody. They believe in Miles. Like, you can't find anybody saying anything negative about Miles. But outside of Miles, it's all in question. So what are you going to do about it? That's it. That's where you're at. Because every one of these, we've done these lists all summer.
Let me tell you
We're
something.
22nd overall in Raw. I mean, we'll be like on a power ranking, we'll be 12, but then you're the most disappointing team. Watson will rank in the mid-20s at quarterback. Like, there's one way to shut it up, and that's just to go play. That's it.
Okay, here, add this for the now the players can post this for the coaches. If you were to just say coaching staffs, where
What's
would
this now? What is this
Where
now?
would we rank in terms of coaching staffs in the National Football League?
Well, you got a 2-time coach of the year, so I think that's pretty good. My hunch is that you would be behind Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, probably Pittsburgh. They've never had a losing season. You got to give them credit.
So
Philly,
this is not taking, and hold on, this doesn't take special teams into consideration or position coaches,
okay.
other than in very few instances.
Then in the NFC, it's not much. Probably Kyle and McVay. So I think Kevin's group ought to be certainly top 10, and I would think probably somewhere between 6 and 10.
Kansas City, number 1.
Okay.
Detroit, number 2.
I had a Kyle and Sean McVay.
Campbell, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn, number 2.
All right.
McVay, LaFleur, Shula, number 3. Kyle and Nick Sorensen, number 4.
Yeah,
Harbaugh, Monken, Zach Orr, number 5.
fine.
DeMeco Ryans, Bobby Slowick, Matt Burke, Houston Texans, number 6.
Jeez, okay.
Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith, Terrell Austin, number 7 of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They've never – I mean,
Number
you
8,
know how I feel about it.
Matt LaFleur, Adam Stenovich, Jeff Hafley.
Jeff Hafley, just Boston College last year.
Number 9, Mike McDaniel, Frank Smith, and Anthony Weaver.
Okay.
Number 10, Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips, and Brian Flores.
Jeez.
Number 11, Shane Steichen, Jim Bob Cooter, and Gus Bradley.
The Colts.
Number 11.
Jeez.
Number 12, the Buffalo Bills, Sean
Oh, my
McDermott,
God.
Joe Brady, Bobby Babich. And then number 13, 2-time Coach of the Year, reigning NFL Assistant Coach of the Year, and then Ken Dorsey, who was, as he notes, is extremely productive. He goes, if I had to guess which fan base will be most upset with me, I'm going to go with Cleveland. Stefanski's a 2-time Coach of the Year. Dorsey's offenses in Buffalo are extremely productive, and Schwartz speaks for itself. I'm not sold on the offensive changes he's displayed. They've lost Bill Callahan. He gets credit for working with bad quarterbacks, but hasn't found the secret sauce to elevate Deshaun Watson. Schwartz, very good. To me, this is like,
That's ridiculous.
that's insane.
Yeah. I would agree. That is absolutely.
This is Solak. Solak's gone to ESPN. And now,
Solak's there.
yeah,
The Ringer kid.
there is something to be said that, and if I was a Cleveland Browns player or somebody who actually had an ability to impact outcomes, I would be talking about this or thinking about
All of
this
it.
nobody respects us.
Nobody does.
Nobody thinks we're worth anything. We sent 7 guys to the Pro Bowl a year ago.
That's right.
We went 11-6 with 5 quarterbacks.
That's right.
And then our coaching staff, which won every award basically,
Yeah.
gets no respect. Nobody gets any respect.
No,
on this
there's
team.
no belief of this operation. There's none.
So you better shut them up.
You got only one thing you can do: win the whole blanking thing. Second hour of the program coming up next, including a conversation with Jeudy. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Attention homeowners, you're looking for a stimulus package to upgrade your home's exterior. Look no further than Renew Home Exteriors. Whether you need new siding, roofing, or stonework, the team at Renew Home Exteriors is going to have you covered. Here's the best part of it. For the month of August, you get a 10% rebate on your project and enjoy 0% interest for 5 years. Say goodbye to high interest payments when you choose Renew. Renew will even let you see how your home will look before the upgrade with a 3D model rendering. Upgrade today. Save big. Visit RenewEstimate.com to book a free estimate. Check them out. They're my guys. They will take care of you on that side of things. Second hour of the program, Brown's going to head out here within the hour and make their way west for the preseason finale out in Seattle against the Seahawks.
Yeah, baby.
Your excitement level is through the roof.
Well, you said I'm going on a vacation. Why wouldn't I be excited?
That's true. What are you going to do tomorrow after we're done with the show? Do you got any plans?
Probably work on my boards. Get everything.
You're going to have the whole flight for that.
I am, but it's also a very small tray, and the boards are big. I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually have that go in my normal setup as effectively as I want to.
Do you have a backup plan if you can't work on boards for because what is it, 5 hours?
Of course I do.
You get plans upon plans. What are you going to watch? Got a little.
I think I might watch The Old Man.
Oh, you'll like that. Yeah, you'll like that.
I was thinking about maybe just.
Plus, Miss K doesn't.
She didn't seem as into it as I did.
She's not going to be as into it as you, so you're not cheating on her in that. So just, I think you could watch that.
Yeah.
Does Gibby have something lined up? Gibby, what are
do
you
you have
doing?
lined up,
What are you
Gibby?
doing on that flight?
I don't know. I kind of bounce around because it's frankly a 5-hour and 15-minute flight.
It's a long ways.
It's long. I usually try to put an over-under in my head at what point Zagura will bounce up and start walking and pacing the aisles.
You got to.
Because he can't. No. And I'm not. Am I wrong?
Go ahead.
He's a lengthy boy.
Hold on. Zagura, am I wrong?
No, because I can't sit in those
Zagura
seats. They
gets
hurt me.
Beyond anxious. And it's
Not
usually
anxious.
within the first 90 minutes. And I'm like, we got a long way to go,
Long
dude.
way to go.
It's not anxious. It's just
Uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I got to get up, and then I want to go talk. I'm like, let's talk. I'm bored.
Do you
I'm not trying to be negative about that.
felt
I just laugh because I'm like,
Felt like I was
I
on
know
a
it's
seat.
coming.
It's coming.
I can see him. He's in front of me. He
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
to squirm,
Yeah.
move around.
It's a long
and then
time.
he pops up, and away we go.
you're in 35B?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, no.
It's a
We're
long
in
way.
45 like L.
Yeah.
Dude, we're-
I can't even tell you the last time, other than when I've been kicked off of planes, that I've sat that far in the back. Like, I can't even. When I see the people getting on last, or like when you have to use a bathroom and you got to go to the back, and I see those poor people back there, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, your margin for error on connections hit is next to none.
Zero.
You basically are, if you're sitting back there, and I understand that there's a premium, and I don't sit all the way in the front, but the way they do it now, the closer you are, the more expensive.
Yep.
And it's like the premium, what you're gambling with is basically your time. Because if you sit back there, and anything goes wrong, you're done. You're not making it. And you have to accept that, I think, if you sit back there, unfortunately.
What's wild to me is, and you're right about it, how long it takes people to just grab their bag and get off of an airplane.
Well,
It
yes.
is.
Because why?
People are terrible at it.
Well, they do not incentivize you. In fact, I don't know if disincentivize is a word, but they
Disincentivize.
So they disincentivize you to pack your bag because they'll charge you for it, and it takes forever on the back end. So everybody is carry-on.
But that being said,
Yeah.
shouldn't it be a lot faster now to get your bags when you check them?
No,
Yes, because there's nobody doing it.
What they Oh, yes, that part.
That's what I'm saying.
yes.
It should be. But
to
still
check
not.
your bags, it should be really streamlined, and it's not. The thing that is what's happened, though, is because of that, you now have what it amounts to 2 carry-ons.
Yep.
You've seen these people that have, like, the overheads, right? The great judge. You see these people that have, like, the overheads, and they stick those in, and then they also have, like, a giant bag. Duffel that they're trying to stick underneath the seat in front of them.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yep.
It's untenable. Can't be like that. But they've made their own bed with this thing. The last flight I was on, we were flying back from Boston. They said they did this both on the way out there and the way back. This was a new one to me, and I want to say it was Delta. I feel like it was Delta. They said, or American, doesn't matter. They said, we have room for 25 bags in the overhead. There are 50 of you here. If you are in groups E, F, whatever, there ain't room.
Yep. Gate check them.
Come up here and gate check them. Let's get it out of the way.
Yep.
How many people go up and do it?
Yep.
Next to nobody will do it. They won't gate check. Why? Because you want the chance. What if there's a chance I can get it in, right?
Yep.
And then they call by zones instead of by rows. So you get somebody who's in 8G on a smaller plane, so you're in the first 4 rows. You might be in group, if it's A, B, C, D, you might, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you might be in group 5 there because that's still considered priority boarding, right? So there's people back, people all over the place, people in the back sticking their stuff in row 8.
Yep.
It's a broken system, man.
It is a broken system.
Absolutely. You're not going to have to deal with any of that. You guys are just going to walk on.
Yeah, but then there's no overhead. I don't know how or why, because it's not a full flight. There's never overhead room.
That doesn't make sense.
Never.
I'm like, what? How is this possible?
Where's it all going?
Yeah, like, so we're on a big boy plane. We're on a big plane.
Like a 3-4-3?
Yes.
Yeah.
The middle seat is empty. The 2 middle seats are empty in the middle. So how is there no room above?
That's a great
And then
question.
I've got to walk 20 rows up into the player area, drop my bag, and then I got to wait for everybody to get off the plane so I can go up there to get my bag.
That's not great.
I'm like, this is great.
You guys are going to get there. What time is it going to be there? Like 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 5:30.
Yeah. So late here, but it'll be early there. Do you have a meal? Do you have your meal set up? We in a good spot there? Do we know we're eating?
Yeah, we got a good dinner tonight. Yeah, I don't know about tomorrow. I don't know what the plan is for tomorrow yet. I'll have to look and find
got
out
a
who's
nice one, right?
interested. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we'll get
It's a great town. I love Seattle.
It is a good town. We're in Bellevue, which is very nice.
My uncle lives in Bellevue.
Yeah, very nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
He got a lot of street cred when Sir Mix-a-Lot dropped Baby Got Back and dropped Bellevue in the lyric. There was a lot of street cred for my uncle.
I didn't realize that Bellevue was in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the lyric.
Last year we played there. Montel did halftime.
There you
And
go.
then I
It was
ran
a
into
throwback
Montel after
night,
the game,
yeah.
and I'm like, I know it says no pictures, but I really, really wanted to get a picture. Man, I love Montel.
Around the Sports We'll Go, presented by Leaf Filter, official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. USA League football quarterback Daryl Doucette says his IQ of the game makes him better than Mahomes. He said it's disrespectful for NFL players to assume they can join USA's flag football team at the 2028 Olympics. At the end of the day, I feel I'm better than Patrick Mahomes because of my IQ of the game. When it comes to flag football, I feel I know more than him.
Listen.
Slow your roll, dog.
Listen. Come on, brother.
Come on, Daryl.
Brother. Now, he might be a tremendous flag football quarterback. It's true. But if Patrick Mahomes wanted to dedicate some time to playing flag football, he would be the best.
Let's not make it more than it is. You're going to put together a game plan. You're going to install an offense. You need someone who can put it where it needs to be put. I'll roll with Mahomes over Mr. Flag Football Pro. Like, how delusional can we be?
It's amazing.
This is insane. This is like a 3-on-3 guy saying, I got to be honest with you, I'm a lot better than LeBron because all I play is 3-on-3, and I understand the angles the way that LeBron does it of 3-on-3. Shut up.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. He's throwing a football. That's ridiculous.
It's nuts.
That's ridiculous.
I'd like to say I might have
My hunch is, so you played in Atlanta in a pretty high-profile league. I played in a high-profile, relatively
Very
much
high profile.
smaller
We won the
area.
state.
You won state. So I played in one in Florida, where a lot of the Florida State guys played in this league that I played in. And the difference between them and Joe Blow off the street, even a Joe Blow off the street who's like, oh yeah, I was a high school guy, go away.
Yeah.
Go away. You don't even know what this is. This is a different atmosphere, that type of player. So,
Yeah.
like, the notion to go all the way to that.
Like Joey Galloway was in one of the
Yeah,
leagues that we were
that
in.
stuff would happen where you get, like, some kid. Like, I remember.
Joey Galloway.
Yeah, right. The Joey Galloway, who, by the way, could still probably run 4.4.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Fly.
Yeah. So those type of guys, and then you
I
compare
had a lot
that
of guys
with,
who
like,
played D1 on my team, and then guys who probably would have played D1, but other reasons precluded them from
Right.
playing D1.
Yeah.
And probably some who would have been in the league for sure. I mean,
I always said
I
that.
felt like I could take the snap and throw the ball as far as I could, and back then I could throw it 70-ish yards in the air,
Yeah,
and I could not overthrow them.
they would get there.
impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Good job of you throwing 70 in the air.
Yeah, back in the day.
That's whipping it.
I could sling it a little bit.
Yeah, there's no scenario where that's true. None. Falcons cornerback A.J. Terrell signed a contract extension with Atlanta, 4 years, $81 million, 65.8 of that guaranteed. He's the second highest paid corner in NFL history behind Jair Alexander.
Yeah, and he's a very, very good player. I think that the market, when Surtain gets his deal, when Sauce Gardner gets his deal, those are going to be the ones that really kind of reset that cornerback market. And I think, honestly, if things go in some ways like I think they will this year for MJ Emerson, he's going to be up there in 2 years. Or in a year, probably going into next season.
Yeah.
Is when he'll get his extension.
Yeah. If it goes that way, and it's hard to believe it won't. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You're talking about those guys who didn't make it to the league or D1 for various reasons. I always said this to people about the South. The kids who didn't make it would blow your mind.
Oh, yeah.
The kid, whether they got into trouble or there was parental issues or
Whatever
whatever.
it was.
Whatever it was. Those guys who would show up like on a Thursday night for a flag football game. What the hell are you doing here, man? Oh, yeah, I was a 5-star prospect, and
There were a lot of
got in
Tyreek
trouble, and I
Hills.
couldn't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that out there, down there.
It is crazy.
That is. Yeah. Yep. It's the ones who don't. That
There
are
might
right
be
there.
a league. There might be an like a Bizarro World NFL of those kids.
Yes.
Or maybe get a division where you did 4 teams that would be as good as any division in the league.
I don't know that like if somehow you were to grab them right at 18 and instead of getting
It
instead
all
of whatever
worked out.
happened,
Yes.
and they were like put into this group and then curated.
Yes.
Yes, I think you're right. I think that's right. I can think of 7 kids off the top of my head that I covered in high school who all would have that story. We talked a little bit about episode 3 of Hard Knocks yesterday. Have you seen this? The Untold: The Murder of Air McNair.
No, I
2
think
days ago,
it
dropped
just
on
came
Netflix.
out. That was one of the things I was considering looking at. But I also, it feels like
It's a little bit of a downer.
it's a downer, and I don't know how much of it I won't have been plugged into.
One of my producers in the morning said that this is a nice.
Jordan said it was awesome, but he said he
didn't know about it.
It wasn't new information for him.
All right, or it wasn't, or it was
not.
Was not. So my producer was like, I felt like I knew everything. It's like if I just read the Wikipedia, then it was all basically just the Wikipedia. Was his take. And I said, well, what's basically happened is it seems to me like what Netflix is doing with this Untold. So this is what they did with Johnny. This is what they did with the Florida Gators. It feels like they're making sports documentaries
Yeah.
for people who didn't watch sports.
Yep.
So what is that? Is there an audience for that? Is there an audience for a Johnny Manziel documentary that's told only through his prism and only gives his side of it and nothing else? Because that's what they did with Florida, too. Like, they just gave Urban's side.
It feels like they must think that there is.
They think there is.
Because they keep making them. But
it's very different than the traditional documentary that you used to see at HBO or that you would see with the 30 for 30s at ESPN, where it was something that maybe you knew a sliver of the story, but you know the whole story.
of course.
Very different than that.
I do think at some point they need to stop calling them documentaries because they're not documentaries.
No, it's sports washing.
Well, here's my version of the truth.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan did that. The difference with Jordan doing it was we hadn't seen him do it, and it was during the pandemic. So this was the first time you had Jordan on the record on all of it.
Yeah.
And we were so excited to see stuff we haven't seen. There was a nostalgia play that none of us even really realized that you never got Krause's side. You never got Pippen. You never got the other side. You just got, this was it through my prism. And that's really what it was.
Yeah.
Was this is the history. It's the, what is the movie? Oh, there's a movie, Great Expectations, with Ethan Hawke, Robert De Niro from the 90s, where he goes, I'm not going to tell it as it happened. I'm going to tell it as I remember it. And that's what this
Well,
is.
and often the victors write the history.
They do indeed. We'll do a little over, under, higher, or lower on the NFC. We did this with the AFC earlier in the week. We'll do it with the NFC coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet. Sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, come party with Josh Cribbs, Kevin Mack, Joe Hayden, and more. True Fan Travel is hosting premium trip packages for Browns fans in Vegas, New Orleans, Denver, and D.C. Flights, hotels, tailgates, tickets. It's all taken care of. Visit truefantravel.com today and reserve your ultimate Browns travel package. All right, this is from CBS Sports. Will Brinson predicts every NFL team's record. The over-unders are courtesy of DraftKings. We did higher or lower in this, didn't we, earlier?
We did this on the AFC. We have not done the NFC.
We have not done this.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Very good. How did we do this with the higher lower? I can't remember how we did this. I remember being so log jammed.
We just said if we would go, if we like the total, we would say if we thought total should be higher.
Should be higher or lower.
Yeah.
Total should be higher or lower.
Or lower.
On that side of things.
That's right.
All right. Should we start in the NFC North?
Sure.
I feel like we need traveling music.
We do.
Anytime we do a game.
Paulus, go ahead.
Nick, if you have any. Oh, gorgeous. All right, AFC North. Will Brinson's predicted record for the Chicago Bears is 8-9. Their over/under via DraftKings is 8-5. Dr. Z.
I think that's probably about right. I think they're going to be 9-8, 8-9. It feels like that's where they're going to land. So I think that one might be sweet spot.
It's right on it.
I like them. I'm bullish on the Bears.
I do too.
But it feels like some of that bullishness is baked into what we're seeing here.
I think they're set up. I think they're set up really well. I haven't looked at the schedule, so I can't play the game entirely. But
yeah,
no, to me they feel like 8 or 9 wins. I wouldn't be shocked if they had 10. I would be really shocked if they were like 6-11. That would be shocking to me.
Yeah.
So I think they could go as high as 10. I would probably go. I think it's right on it. Lions, 10.5. Projected record of 11-6. Dr. Z.
That feels right on it too. I probably would go. I would stay away from that one. That feels pretty right on it.
I think maybe I think the over/under's right. I would go the over. I think they'll be better than.
I think they'll be 11-6.
I think they'll be at least 11-6. I think it's a really good team.
That feels.
It's a really good team.
Realm.
Packers are 9.5. His projected record is for them to go slightly over at 10-7. So basically, he's right on every one of these. He doesn't think the over/under is off by more than a half. It's basically right on at every one. Slightly over on 3 of the 4 in the NFC North.
It's interesting because there was wide variance in the AFC.
Wide, and there isn't here. Like we'll get through the rest of them, but in this one, it's all within a half.
It's all on
half game. He's right on it.
It's just
Packers
it
at 10-7. That feels right where they're going to be.
Yeah.
To me,
that's right. Yeah,
Vikings 7-10, 6.5. I would go under. I think that's going to be tough for Kwesi and the boys.
By the way, Chick Nub said today I learned that Nathan Zagura is Uncle Rico.
Thank God. Glad that you did.
No doubt. No doubt in my mind.
NFC East, Cowboys 10.5 on the over/under. 11-6 is the projected.
I'd take the under.
I don't know what they're doing. They've had a weird offseason. They didn't really try.
When are they signing CeeDee Lamb?
I
mean, it's going to get done. He will be here September the 8th. We're not going to be that lucky.
Yeah.
I love everybody trying to create a scenario in which we're trading for CeeDee Lamb. That's been really busy on Twitter lately. I would be surprised, but
yeah,
never say never. I suppose.
I like them under that. I think they look like 10-7 to me. I think they've got some issues with that little bit of roster construct. Giants 6-5. He has them at 6-11. So again, all these within right on the over/under line. I get them under. I think it's going to be a long season for the G-men.
Very long.
Under 6.5.
And I think
they're bad roster.
I think there are going to have to be significant changes there based on what I've seen.
Yeah. Eagles are 10-5 on the over/under, or 10.5 on the over/under. 9-8 is his projected record. I could not disagree more.
Over.
They were 10-1 last year, man.
I agree, and I mean now it feels to me like they just added Dotson for nothing.
They got Saquon Barkley too,
and Barkley,
which
was he was the whole Giants operation.
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons.
Yeah, I think is the problem their coaching?
Maybe, but I still think
it ended
12-5. I mean, the division's garbage. I mean, aren't they 12-5 minimum? To me, they could be right there with San Francisco for the top seed in the NFC. I got them over. Kami's 6-5. He has them at 7-10.
Under.
Yeah.
I
can't believe they're not. There's no movement. When I was talking to Kime, he said there's no movement right now to change the name. He said what his bet is they're hoping that there's some success with this name and with these jerseys and that the folks will go along with it. And I'm thinking to myself, John,
Dude.
if I owned this team, I would divorce all things that are related to Dan Snyder.
Same. And
In a second.
I would bring back the original uniforms.
Of course.
You don't need to have the logo on there if you're not going to do that. You put we talked about it a million times, the R.
Yeah, you can put a W. I mean, but the R is great. The Gibbs R is awesome.
Just be the Red Hogs. It's not hard. Or the Red Tails, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
No, it's not. It's
Major Tutty? Guy's an embarrassment.
embarrassment, dog. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, we call them the commies. Everybody calls them the commies, and they're in Washington D.C.
It's wild.
It's so funny. It speaks to like Snyder and how tone deaf he was to all of it. But like they had multiple acted like they were fan votes. You know, teams do that. Like, oh, we want your input, but not really. So on the we want your input thing, it was overwhelmingly Red Wolves, Red Tails. Red Hogs was in anything red.
Anything
it's
red
basically
will
all
do.
anybody wanted.
Yeah.
And then they could just wear the same uniforms and put the R, and everybody knows it. It's really easy to do. And they went Commanders. Good Lord.
It really is crazy.
It's nuts. And to not know that everyone would just shorthand and make it commies.
Which is, yes, wild.
It's crazy. NFC South, Atlanta, the over-under is 9.5. His predicted record is 10-7 on Atlanta.
I'd take the over there. I like them.
Yeah, yes. I think a lot. I just think that division's not much. The division's garbage, and they should be. And the other thing is even if Cousins something weren't to happen, he 100%. I think Penix is more than good. He's played a lot of football.
Yeah,
like you could pop him in, and he would be fine. So I'm with you. I think they feel
Good
like
thing they drafted him.
11-6 minimum to me. I think that's kind of a comfortable over. Panthers 5.5. He has them over at 6-11. God bless. Go look at the roster.
He's a Carolina
They paid
guy.
$100
He's a
million
Carolina guy.
for a guard. Are you aware of this?
He's
they
a
signed
Carolina
the guard
guy.
from I think Miami. It was a $100 million deal.
Jeez Louise.
It's the only way you're getting people to go to Carolina.
They're under 5.5. I think you're staring down 3-14, 4-13, something like that. I hate the 17 games because I'm having to redo math. I don't like that.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Saints 7.5. He has them 6.5. This is the first one that's a full 1.5 below the over/under. So he has the Saints no better than
So
Carolina.
he's not into them at all.
I'm not either, but they're not going 6-11. They're not having the same record as Carolina.
I agree with that.
Bucks are 7.5. He has them at 9-8.
7.5. So Vegas is not bullish on the Bucks. I'm not either.
No, I'm
just
not
saying.
either. I don't think that's a 9-8 team. They're going to play a first place schedule.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Always remember that. The schedule you play is a big, big deal.
Totally. Who
right.
you match up with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
NFC West, Cardinals, over-under is 6.5. He has them 7-10. Slightly over.
I'm fine with that. I think they're gonna score. Kyler, Marv, McBride.
right.
Who else do they have at receiver other than Marv?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I just did them last week.
This is a good question.
Arizona Cardinals 2024. They've got a Michael Wilson
Oh yeah,
and a Greg Dortch
Dortch. Sure, Dortch.
are in the mix there. Zay Jones is there.
Zay Jones.
Zach Pascal, Chris Moore. Yeah.
Okay.
Rondale Moore never hit there. Just was always banged up and just couldn't get
No,
right.
and then he went to Atlanta
right?
and
got
tore
hit
his
again.
he tore his ACL. He's out.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just that's like what happened to J.K. Dobbins. Like you just can't get luck. Can't stay healthy. I think it's right on it for them. I could see him 6-11. You could be 6-11 and be vastly better than you were a year ago if you're them. 7-10. It's right on it. Rams,
Yeah.
he's got it 8-5. 8.5 is the over/under. Way over. 12-5 for the Ramets.
Wow.
For your boy Will
I
Brinson.
like the Ramets. I like them this year. That feels a bit aggressive, but I like them. I don't know if I'd go 12-5, but I like the over. I like what he's saying there. That's a big, big number.
12-5.
And yeah, because you got the Niners in there. That's a big number.
They play a second place schedule.
Who do they match up with? So that gets them the Cowboys, or that gets them the Eagles, probably.
Yeah, because they're a second place schedule. That's the other thing with the Eagles, like that part of it. I mean, they have no Aaron Donald anymore.
Right.
It's out of the mix. I don't
their
think
offense should be quite
their
good.
offense should be quite good. Defensively, they've got our guy John Johnson's back there. They got some guys. They got some new faces though on defense for sure. Tre'Davious White's there now.
Yep.
They're not. I don't see 12.5, 12-5. I could see them going 10-7. Seems more just ram it for me. The 49ers have the highest over/under in the NFC at 11.5. He has them slightly under at 11-6.
That's fine. I mean, they're going to be in the mix. They're going to be. They will be there when it matters to be there.
They would probably be. I think both. I would be. Which one would you be more stunned not to be the 1 seed, Kansas City or San Francisco?
Kansas City.
I think Kansas City's like a lock.
I
to go 13.
So I asked last night on the preview show.
Yeah.
Which one has a better chance to get back to the Super Bowl this year, KC or San Fran?
KC.
Mahomes.
Andy Reid.
Still going to go with him.
Xavier Worthy running 3.9s. How do they get the fastest guy in the draft?
At the end of the first round.
God. Seahawks 7.5 is the over/under. 9-8 is the predicted record there. So he has them a game and a half more than the over/under.
Seattle's roster is not bad when I look at it. They should have a pretty good defensive
There's
front.
A return to mean of Geno Smith over the last year or so.
You saw that. But Metcalf, Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker,
Great receivers.
they're solid. It's
Good
not
corners.
bad.
Good second.
Very good corners.
Good corners. Yeah.
Reek Wolin and Witherspoon who went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Well, you're going to get a first-hand look.
I will.
Happy flight, boys.
Thank you.
Fly safely.
Thank you.
Look forward to your hearing the tales of Seattle, your relaxing flight home. I'm sure it'll be rejuvenative for all of you. Just relax and be in your beds before you know it.
Just got a text. The overheads are all full already. Like we haven't even gotten
You guys
there.
are sitting here.
We haven't even
Overheads
gotten
full.
over
So
there.
what do they do? Do you
Who
UPS them?
texted you that the overhead's full?
Clay.
Did you guys
He's
UPS
like,
them?
everything's full.
Do you UPS
Everything.
your bags? Jeez.
I don't know what we're
I'm
doing.
like,
right.
what are we doing? We haven't even the players. We're going with the players. They haven't even gotten there yet.
And they're full.
Great.
All right.
Well, that's
Safe
because
flight, boys.
our area is full. Our area is a very small area of the plane. The players' area is going to be completely empty.
Yeah, I don't think like Jim and Tickets is taking Denzel Ward's space above
No.
the seat. Yeah.
Jason in radio sure is.
Yes, he is. Who's this Jason in radio? Who's this guy?
Who's this Gibby?
Jerry Jeudy up next. Safe flight, boys.
Thank
Cleveland
you.
Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Good school attendance is a foundation for student success. Cleveland Browns Foundation is a proud founder of the Stay in the Game Attendance Network, partnering with school districts in Northeast Ohio to dramatically improve student attendance. Visit stayinthegame.org to learn more and take action to support strong attendance. And now we head to the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience packages today from the Ultimate Game Day. Here is Jerry Jeudy.
You're down.
I feel pretty good. Just taking it day by day. Each day I'm improving and working on to get better. So, I'm feeling good.
Did you do something in OTAs to your knee or something like what happened?
Yeah, something had happened. I was running a route and tweaked it a little bit, but during OTAs a little bit, but now I'm back and going.
Jerry, it seems like even though you were kind of in and out back in the spring, kind of leaving the training camp and the last couple weeks, you and Deshaun, it seems like when you're out in the field together, really have a good connection. It's kind of flawless. You don't miss a beat. What's that process been like? Kind of getting to know him, and you guys kind of build that chemistry where you haven't been out there.
Yeah, it's about communication, steady communicating with each other. Pick his brain a little bit, where he want me to be at in certain routes and certain situations, and I consistently ask him questions, what he think on my route, what he think about my route. So I think that's the biggest thing. So, since I have that much repetition on the field, the biggest thing is communicating and just picking each other's brain on how we want things done.
It seems like there's not been a lot of this training camp where you, Amari, and Elijah Moore have been on the field all together with Deshaun. So how do you think that has really kind of maybe slowed the development of the offense?
I think with the players we got here, I think that won't slow us down at all. We very smart players. Understand the game, understand the fundamental of football. So I feel like that won't hurt us at all. Once game one comes by, hopefully we all on the field together.
What do you get out of these reps in camp and preseason that helps you build to it?
Just timing with the quarterback, understanding route concept, understanding where the coaching and the quarterback want me to be on certain spots and certain routes. So that's the biggest thing for real.
Jerry, it seems since you arrived here, they've managed you to get to the point where you're your best for the opener. Do you think you're there?
Yeah, I think I'm doing good. I'm listening to the training staff. I feel like they had the best position for me possible to, stay healthy and be ready for game one, and that's the goal right now. Deshaun, I play with a lot of good quarterbacks. Deshaun, he great at what he do. Communicate well. Know what he likes and what he don't like. They all have different playing style, but he just good at what he do for real.
You adjusted to a lot of different quarterbacks already in your career.
Yeah.
So even though you haven't had a ton of 11 on 11 reps with Deshaun, do you feel like you're just good at pivoting and adapting and just whatever comes, you're going to
Yeah, I'm great at adjusting. The little time I do get, the little time I do go out there and practice, you want to all want to be on the same page with Deshaun. Make sure he likes what I'm doing. And just like I said in the beginning, the biggest thing is communicating. Just stay communicating with each other and just understand what we want within each other.
It seems to be a sentiment around the league that as starters play less during the preseason, there's a little bit of like an extended preseason for the first few weeks of the regular season. How do you feel about that? Do you think rust from lack of reps in preseason carries over to the regular season?
Nah, I don't think that. A baller's a baller. You're a football player no matter what. Week 1, preseason, no preseason, week 5. If you're a baller, you're going to go out there and ball, for me, in my opinion.
So do you feel like you and Deshaun have to go out there in the opener together against the Cowboys, again, even though you had to work through your knee a little bit and everything? Yeah. Are you guys just going to be just ready to hit it?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, we always communicate. And when I am out there on that field, and it runs smooth. Like I said, I haven't been practicing, but when I was out there playing and practicing, it looked good. So hopefully it stays like that.
How do you build chemistry without the physical reps out here? Like, what do you do
You know, you want to mentally prepare, and like I was saying, the whole interview is just communicate. You know, communicate with each other, pick each other's brain, understand what we want as a receiver and as a quarterback, and what we want to be at, and what the quarterback's looking at, and you know, biggest thing communicating, like I said before.
You're regarded around the league as having some of the best footwork out of any wide receiver. What goes into that, and what are some of the drills, and just what goes into perfecting that footwork?
I ain't gonna lie, as a JIT, I used to do a lot of ladder drills. That's all I had. That's all I know. So I ain't know nothing else but some ladders. So as a JIT, that's all I used to do. But you know, that's it, man. And the biggest thing is just not getting locked up. I guess that's my biggest goal. I don't really think too much of the footwork. It was just get open, find a way to get open as quick as possible and on time. So that's the biggest thing for real.
You said that you've been running choice routes all of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm just wondering, when you talk about communication, I know that that's one area where the quarterback and the receiver have to really be on the same page.
Yeah.
So the fact that Deshaun is used to running those or throwing those routes, and you're used to running them,
Yeah.
even though you haven't had a bunch of time on task,
Mm-hmm.
do you think those particular routes are going to be like clockwork?
Yeah, I think so. You know, if we're on the same page, you know, it's all that type of route all depends on the coverage the defense running. So if we could both see the coverage and understand what they running and what they want, then I'm pretty sure we'll be on time. You know, that starts with watching game film and just communicating with each other. Yeah, that's it for real.
Will you watch game film together, like during the week, maybe stay after a little bit and just make sure that you guys are getting on the same page with what those defenders?
Whatever we need to do to prepare for that week, we're gonna do it.
How do you feel about going all the way to Seattle for the final preseason game?
I don't feel no type of way. We got a game in Seattle. We got to go.
You've been there before.
Yeah.
A couple more.
How is Amari? Where has he helped you since you got here and getting acclimated?
He helped me in a lot of ways. You know, Amari not really a vocal guy. You know, you just got to watch what he do. So I just watch everything he do, how he run his routes. You know, he give me little details and stuff now and then, not whatever. Yeah, get my words all tangled up. Yeah, huh? Nowadays, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Nowadays, but you know, I just be watching him, seeing how he moves, seeing how he run his routes and stuff like that. You know, if I have a question, I ask him. Sometimes he critique me on things and stuff like that. Yeah.
Deshaun has taken a lot of heat, I think, you know, in the media for maybe the fact that the offense doesn't look as good as it should right now, or just some inconsistencies. What's your view on how it's going, how he looks, and how it looks?
My view, I mean, Deshaun be looking good out here in camp. You know, putting the ball in the right spots, making the right reads. You know, everybody not perfect, but we strive to be. So I think he's doing his best to work towards that, and I'm seeing it. And you know, hopefully everybody in the world see it week one when it come play the Cowboys.
In Denver, you're used to going against Patrick Surtain.
30.
Yeah.
What have you thought about going against this cornerback group so far?
Everywhere I go, we have good corners. You know, Denzel, MJ. You know, they're great DBs. Very smart. Very physical. You know, that working against them is gonna only make me better. So you know, it's always great to have good DBs on your team, because when you go against everybody else, you're not seeing that. You're not seeing that for real. So you know, it's a lot easier. So.
A lot of people say Pat's the best in the league. How close are Denzel and MJ?
Oh, they close. They up there for sure.
You're
up there for sure.
All right, there you go. Jerry Jeudy, who's been great so far in camp, and look forward to maybe seeing him do a little something on Saturday out in Seattle. Tomorrow we will be broadcasting Z and Gibbe from Seattle. I will be right here in town as we get you set for the Browns and the Seahawks, and maybe a little clearer picture on who could be playing and who could not be playing. We'll have that for you tomorrow. The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.